And good morning, and welcome to another beautiful day here in Chile. This morning I'm riding a girl's bike, but I'm also here to talk to you guys about something super important, and that's the use of Spanish. You see, a couple of years ago, I gave up on Spanish. I even lived in a Spanish-speaking country for an entire year and got away with not speaking any Spanish.
Hello.
But I'll tell you what, that was a mistake. And today we're going to show you 3 reasons why that was a mistake for me, and I think for other people living in the United States, where you think that English is the most important thing ever, and not many people speak Spanish, and it's not a big deal. But I feel like I have a different opinion on it now. After living here in Chile for a couple of years, let's dive into it. Alright, so from the girl bike to here, I wanted to introduce you to Jenny. In order to make our point, she has an English class, and she's going to explain the use of English that she has here and why Spanish is important for you back at home in Wisconsin or wherever you are in the world.
Hey guys, welcome to my English classroom office. I've been here in Chile for about 3 years, but about a year ago I decided to start giving individual classes because that way I could give classes to adults as well. And so I'm here in downtown Linares, and I have about 40 some students or so throughout the last year. And it's been so wonderful. I have quite a few adult students who take English, and all for different reasons: for traveling, for being able to do better in their jobs because they work with people from all over the world and exporting. But I also have some older adult students who take it because they're retired or close to retired age, and they just know that it's really important to keep on learning and to keep their brain active. There have been a lot of studies done recently that show that learning a new language can help ward off Alzheimer's because it activates a different part of your brain that hasn't been activated since you were a child and learned your first language. And so they just love it to keep their brain active, and that's really cool. And as far as learning Spanish or knowing Spanish, it's super helpful because above all, my goal in life is, of course, to tell people about Jesus. And how could I tell my students who are just learning English about Jesus if I didn't know Spanish? And so knowing Spanish has really helped me to build a relationship with them, and through that relationship, I really hope to be able to tell them more and more about God's love.
And I think that that's an issue not just here in Chile and South America where they speak Spanish predominantly, but also in the United States, because a lot of people from South America and Mexico and Central America, they want to live in the United States because it's a first world country. So you're going to be able to use the Spanish in a lot of ways, not just if you live in another country, but also if you live in another state or even in your own city maybe.
Yeah.
Look at my cool bike. Oh, it even says Carla Alegría on it. That's the name of our friend. It's just reassuring that it's a girl bike, that's all. But we're in the plaza right now, and plazas are very, very common in South America. They actually started because a lot of places in South America are Spanish colonies. And in Spain, they have plazas as well. And in the plaza, you have your cathedral that's right behind me. You have a bunch of banks, you have very important buildings, government buildings, municipalities for the local government that's here in Linares. And, it's a place to meet a lot of people. And my next point is this. If you learn Spanish and you want to travel, you can go to so many different countries. Anywhere in South America, Central America, it's so cheap to travel through there. Even Puerto Rico, it is so beautiful to travel through here and so cheap. And also, you probably won't get ripped off if you want to travel through these areas. If you want to buy something or stay somewhere, you can talk to somebody and they'll be surprised because you can speak in Spanish. A lot of people, myself included when I lived in the United States, had this idea that English is the only language and everyone should learn English because it's a dominant language. Why not? But living here in Chile, it's opened my mind to a lot of different ideas of traveling to different places that are so beautiful, and also if I were to move back to the United States, how many more conversations I could have with people because I could speak Spanish. When I come back to visit, I have people that come up to me and say, he speaks Spanish, you can talk to them. And oftentimes those conversations lead to Jesus. And how cool is that you get to share the Great Commission to people just by learning another language and by sometimes just sitting in a classroom and not using your brain to daydream, but using your brain to think about something that could be meaningful and useful and oftentimes lead to eternal salvation to a lot of people. Why not? How cool is that you get to travel with this language and see different places while getting to share the Great Commission? Pretty cool. Just like that bike. And welcome to our church. Elise, my wife, is here now to explain a couple of things and why learning Spanish is important, especially with us here in the church.
Okay, so when I was in high school and when I was in grade school, 7th and 8th grade, I had opportunities to learn Spanish. And I was a really good student, so I did my work, but I didn't necessarily do it so that I could actually learn and use it in life. I just did it to get the grade. I distinctly remember thinking, I don't need Spanish, I don't need to learn this, and so I'm not even gonna try, really. But the reality is learning another language is so huge for our purpose in life here as Christians. Whether you're a doctor or a teacher or a pastor or whether you work in any place, our job is to tell others about Jesus. And so our top job, if you think about it, is communicating. It's being able to see somebody else and talk to them. And that is the foundation of telling them about their Savior, having a conversation with someone. And Spanish, another language, allows us to do that. So many of you sitting over there in your chairs at these schools might be thinking, I'm never gonna use Spanish. In my town, there are no Spanish speakers. Well, I have an example here of a great way of communicating in Spanish. There's a school called St. Mark's who wrote letters in Spanish to our church members. And I wish we had video footage of when the members received these letters because it was so special to them.
I do. Insert it right now.
Oh.
Son niños de Estados Unidos de 13 años, 14 años, que hicieron con cariño, con amor, esta escritura. Y es importante que ustedes la lean, porque yo ayer la leí y en algunas me emocioné, porque también uno, a ver cómo explicarlo, uno a veces se siente tan solo aquí en Chile, que somos tan poquitos, pero aquí son puros niñitos de 13 años, 14 años. Entonces, es importante que lo lean, porque ellos esperan que lo lean. Porque incluso agradecen cuando leí ayer, decían gracias por haber tomado y leído esto. Esos niños. Así que léanlo.
But our church leader gave a speech and he said, you guys must read every single one of these letters because sometimes we feel so isolated and sometimes we feel so small here, but these letters are from children in the States who want to talk to us and encourage us in our faith. And so these children use Spanish to communicate with others and share Jesus with them. And so my encouragement to you is as you sit in Spanish class, don't just think in the short term, think in the long term. Think of communicating with others and telling them about Jesus.
But I hope that you enjoyed coming with us today and going to the plaza, going to Jenny's office, and here in the church. We enjoyed sharing our version of why learning a second language is so important for not only us, but for everyone. And we want to inspire you to do the same. We hope that this video will create some classroom discussion for all of you, and we hope to see you in a Q&A session soon. But from us in the church in Linares, in Chile,
Ciao, Pescado!